I don't have the vote out pen. I do have a gavel somewhere. I think Lisa gave it to me. Okay, I would like to call to order the Village of Lansing Planning Board meeting for Monday, May 11th to order at 7 p.m. We are 2 minutes early, by the way. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Got one set, April 28th, 2026. I know I saw some comments from Lorraine.
Yeah, there was only Lorraine, I really looked it over, it was fine. I made the correct changes, I think, this.
I don't know, you didn't send them back out so I could review.
There was everything I did.
I figured you did.
Okay, if there's no other changes, I'll entertain a motion to approve the April 28th, 2026 meeting minutes.
Second.
Who motion first?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Lorraine,
Second.
second by Solidad. All in favor? Aye. Oh, I should also mention that at the trustee meeting, they did appoint Soledad as I know we hadn't made the full, but they appointed Soledad as a full member, so she's a full member now, and we'll talk about an alternate position later on in the meeting, but congratulations. Yay. Appoint her as a voting. Next item on the agenda is the public comment period. So this is an opportunity for anyone from the public, either in person or online, to bring up any topic that is not already on the agenda for this evening.
Hi, this is Carla Marceau. I'm here as an observer for the community party.
Hey, Carla. Yeah.
We're here to celebrate, obviously, with some really good ice cream cake. Thank you, Mike. Lisa Schleyline's retirement from the planning board, but we have a. It is our distinct honor to recognize Lisa Schleline for her dedicated service to the Village of Lansing as a longtime member of the planning board. Public service at the local level is often unheralded, but deeply impactful. And as a planning board member, Lisa exemplified that steadfast. She helped shape our community's growth with thoughtfulness, integrity, and care. Lisa consistently demonstrated sound judgment, professionalism, and a genuine willingness to listen to all points of view. She asked thoughtful questions, including some difficult ones. She carefully considered diverse perspectives and always acted in the best interest of our village. Just as important, most important. She was a respectful colleague and friend with a steady collaborative presence. Her commitment and contributions have guided responsible village development and helped preserve our village's unique character. Lisa, on behalf of the Village of Lansing, we extend to you our sincere gratitude for your 17 years as a planning board member. Your valuable service and significant impact will be felt and appreciated for many years to come. And we have a small gift for you.
I've gotten as much out of it as I can. Really, it's just been a trip. And I'm gonna miss it, but it was fine. And I'm really very grateful, though, that I had all this time. It's just been wonderful, frankly. Not all of it. I'm finding records that just remind me how come I could be very direct about some questions with developers. Just want to say to you guys, stay the course. Remember, a special permit is exactly that. It's the guarantee of the agreement. Be sure if something doesn't feel right, get to the bottom of it. And honestly, if sometimes you don't want to vote yes, just don't say yes. I'm not understanding that we want you to think about things that are going to impact everyone, not just yourself and your family, of course, but everyone. And so I just wish you all the best and thanks so much for the team sport, you know. So have fun and enjoy.
And you get to stay for another planning board meeting if you want to. I mean, I know she did, yeah. Right. Obviously, everybody is welcome to stay if you so choose, and if not, I understand. But the next item on the agenda is an informal discussion with architect George Brenthouse about a YMCA project.
George Brenthouse, I'm a local architect here in Ithaca. I was saying, I think, first building I did when I came to Ithaca was Andy Sharava's Lansing Village Place, so that makes me kind of old. Why applied for and received a $5.5 million grant from the state. And it's in a phase project, but one is to add a lap pool, and part of the lap pool would also include a space that would be for water aerobics, would also provide ramp access for wheelchairs for people with disabilities to get into the pool. So we need to build this addition, which obviously triggers some more parking. And currently, this is the line set up the way it is. If you all have any drawings, this is right off the survey that was finished 2 weeks ago. So it shows the parking the way it really is, though I have to admit, the north area is not striped. You can find remnants of it, but so we have put parking lines on it, given the spaces that are there, how many cars you could fit, okay? So there's some spots in here where we can gain some additional spaces, but this is the way it's set. And what we're gonna do is here's the current pool, and this is the end of the wall right now. And in here is the fish pool. So the discussion is, the village temporary all across here, take the kids pool out, be a large hot tub, and also like a kids water feature, so there'd be water spraying out of the floor, coming down, and then a lap pool, that you could actually have competition. We'd have starting blocks, which they're not allowed in this pool, because though the deep end is deep enough, it's not long enough by state requirements for starting blocks. So, and then in here, there would be basically a 40 to 48 inch deep pool that would be used for water aerobics. And coming down the side would be a ramp that comes across and would allow access into the pool. So the existing electric room is right here. Here's the entrance to the building.
Can everybody see this?
What happens is this addition comes forward of the existing, keeps our 25-foot setbacks because we actually have two frontages because of the road running down along here. So it moves out some parking, but we can recover some by extending the existing parking roughly 8 foot further east. But it also means we need additional parking here. And the question becomes, how much additional parking? The way Article 5 says in your zoning code, we are supposed to provide one parking space for every 200 gross feet. The existing building is like 52.5. That means it should have 262 spaces at full load. It currently has 194. If we add roughly 5,400, the whole building would get up to like 52,000, we would need 290 parking spaces. We don't have enough spots. You couldn't fill this and have 290. So one of the things I found in your parking requirements for indoor recreation and club is it says 1 per 200, but it talks about bowling alleys and tennis courts. And it recognizes that those tend to be big spaces, and it says for a tennis court or a bowling alley, you need 4 parking spaces per court or alley. Well, I looked at this and said, if you're 1 per 200, and we've got large spaces like the gym, the pool, there are 6 squash courts over there. It's almost half. It's currently is 25,332 by our numbers of the 52,000. So almost half the building are these large spaces. These large spaces have no spectator seating. You know, it's not like a school gymnasium where you've got balconies and spectators and bleachers. The pool doesn't have it, and obviously the squash courts the most you're ever gonna have is 4 people in a squash court playing doubles. So I'm saying, why don't we look at it like rather than 1 per 200 for these large spaces, why don't we look at it as 1 per 400 or half the parking requirement? If we did that and I run all the numbers, it comes out that we could need like 213 even with the pool addition on. Not knowing where we're going, this particular site plan shows 224 car spaces. What I'd like to do, because I don't know whether you're gonna agree with this argument or not. So what I'd like to do really would be to cut these 9 spaces off and get down to 215. That, because the other thing they're gonna do is they're applying for other grants for some outdoor recreation things that they're hoping to develop in this area. So the more green space I can give them, the better. There's also a bus stop currently right in here. And they're bike racks. So I realize that the Y is a county resource. It's not just a village that uses it. People come from all over. But it's not spectator intensive where you got a game, say 2 basketball teams that might have 12 people on a team, but another 80 or 90 people watching it. That doesn't happen. And the pool originally had bleachers, but they're gone. So I'd like to propose that we do this addition, which depending on which way you want to go, is about 5,400 square feet. So at 1 per 200, it'd be 27 spaces. At 80%, it'd be 22. If you go on my calculations, it'd be 15 spaces. And I come up using the 1 per 400 for the large athletic spaces, that you would need 213, and I would propose 215. But Mike and I talked about it. It seems to make sense, but not for me to say.
Well, the Y currently has 194, 195.
194, 195.
They have that, they're operating at that, and yes, there are quite a few. You see quite a few cars over there, but I'm not so sure that you ever see an old parking, even 195 spaces. Yeah, George and I discussed there's gotta be some common ground. The actual addition of the lap pool is not really an issue with he's gonna be able to meet all the requirements. It's gonna take 4 building permit. I invited Brent Cross here today in case, we do have to, if George does have to add parking, then you're talking about disturbing some earth or whatnot. So I want to get kind of familiar with this in case George does proceed with a special permit for this. So it's kind of up to you. The code allows you, the whole 80% rule is, it doesn't really affect this. The code allows you to, and I believe I sent you an email on this, it allows you to lower the required parking for certain circumstances. It doesn't really specify the exact circumstances, but it's up to the planning board to be able to figure, well, if they can do less spaces, then that's great. Let's have them do less spaces. In past special permits, when we came to parking, we have always pushed for having, less impervious surface, less blacktop. A big case would be any of the malls. They always seem to have more than what they need. And there's also, there is a possibility if there were overflow that they could possibly park in the mall, but we haven't seen it so far. At least as long as I've been here, I haven't seen any overflow parking. So I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of background, and George did a good job explaining to you what they're really looking for.
Yeah, I mean, so the purpose of this, because we're gonna come back in 2 weeks and start the actual discussion. And one of the things that it was explaining to Mike is they've got this $5.5 million grant. They've checked every box except for they need a negative declaration on the seeker. And once that's done, the state will send them a check. So what I'd like to do, I mean, I know there's going to be some questions, but I'd like to, as part of the public, to do the seeker, get that all set up and do that as soon as possible so they can get their money.
So in regards to the seeker, so when you do come in for the public hearing, we always keep those open for 2 meetings anyway. We don't ever do anything in one meeting. We have, in the past before gone through seeker in one meeting, assuming that everything is accurate on it. The last, I would say, 3 or 4, there's been something that we've wanted changed on it because maybe, well, we didn't check urban and it really does above urban. So if, if you fill it out in advance and everything looks right, we could potentially vote on it the next one, but I would maybe fill it out, maybe chat with Mike to make sure that Mike's got a good feel for the things that we've
I mean, it's
thought on them before, addresses, adjoining lands. I don't think we have to worry about sturgeon on the, is that one? Is the sturgeon one the secret one, or is that,
Mhm.
yeah, that's that one. I don't think we have to worry about.
the good thing is, it's a continuation of what's.
Yeah.
Asking for something.
Yeah, I would just make sure that if the form's filled out and accurate and people agree, we could potentially get through it in one meeting, and if not, it would have to wait until the next month, but yeah. Regarding parking, what questions or thoughts if folks have?
So I have a few things. Because, well, first of all, I'm in that parking lot at least 3 times a week at different times. So based on my experience, the busiest time for that parking lot is in the morning. There have been times when I've gone down there at 9:30 in the morning and there's like 2 spots left. So, but afternoons, there's not a lot of cars in the parking lot in the afternoons. They have people from the neighborhood using that parking lot as a municipal parking lot. So there are people parking in the YMCA parking lot that shouldn't be from local businesses.
Okay, when you say it's full, is that including this north lot up there? Just
All of the front lot and probably most of that because the staff park.
The staff-
Yeah, the staff park on the other lot, yeah, but the front lot,
This kind of.
yeah, the front lot, yeah. But in the afternoons, like a Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock, that front lot,
Sure.
it's few and far between. I mean, I've never seen it even half full.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is when they're running the summer camps, pickup
Yeah.
times could be.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like when you're pulling in, just
Yeah.
standing room kind of things.
I mean, the only time I've ever seen where they have needed an overflow was for their trunk or treat that they did in October. And I think everybody parked in Eric's property, because there were so many people that attend that. But other than that, like I said, there's people parking in that parking lot that shouldn't be. And Gunner's aware of it because I brought it to his attention before and they're well aware who it is. And but the parking lot really, for the most part, is never full. But George, I did want to ask you, because I was counting spaces when I was there this morning. I know you counted 8 across in the front lot. But do you consider this space right here? I never considered that a full parking space because is it?
I didn't measure,
Oh, okay.
I haven't measured it, it's supposed to be 9 feet.
Except you know how they have them,
They
the
do.
ones along the edge look like a half a parking spot?
I don't know, the parking space, I had Brian Plum from Owasco Surveying, he actually laid it out, so I'm pretty
Okay.
certain. This existing one is his survey essentially with our title.
Oh, okay. Well, he was probably, maybe he ran it, even though there's lines there, it's not a full spot, but you could run it to the edge of the blacktop.
We're gonna
and It
have-
probably would be.
Yeah, we're gonna have to rework the parking that's here
Yeah.
because this is higher than the floor level. So this all has to get reworked, some regraded. Right now, parking is roughly a little over 15 feet off it's a side yard, but technically it's a front yard, but it's always been there, so.
Yeah, and also, and this is kind of to Brent Cross too. We were talking at one time, I can't remember what parking lot it was, but the state allows you to have certain compact parking areas, don't they, Brent? We talked about this before. So that would actually increase more parking in that aspect.
I think Brent's trying to.
You're on,
He's trying. He's got it.
Muted.
He was looking at the parking lot diagram.
The other thing that's never discussed, but motorcycles, there's no. Obviously, they can go in a smaller space. It never says, it says parking spaces, it never says for what. That's true of all the zoning codes. But they have a minimum space for cars typically, and that's gotten smaller over the years. It used to be 10 by 20 and now it's usually 9 by 19. But it's also, the reality of the cars are smaller.
Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah, sorry about that. I did get lost. I was looking at the drawings. Yeah, I think that there are considered standard opportunities for subcompact parking at certain places. So, if you felt like we were trying to cram in some extra spaces, you could do that. But I thought that the George's explanation of how he came about his parking count seemed reasonable. And I guess just if what we're saying is now it'd be, for the next time is to have Brian, for me to take a look at the dimensions that they've used just to make sure that, I can come up with the same count, then, sounds plausible to me.
And I don't
So-
think, oh, sorry, Brent, go ahead.
Well, just since I'm kind of got the floor, so to speak, we would probably want to, if you're going to extend that upper lot to the west, there's an existing stormwater drain at the kind of the western edge of that current parking. So we'd probably want to do something to reconfigure that so that there's a new drain off the new far edge, and maybe some kind of either. So what's happening right now is that's collecting all the water and diverting it down to there's appears to be a stormwater basin in the southwest corner. And, we'd want to do some kind of evaluation to see what the capacity of that is. It seems like maybe there's some spare capacity, or maybe there would be a minor revision to that would allow us to account for the new impervious area.
I haven't shown catch basins yet because I wasn't certain exactly how far we were gonna go, but yes, when we extend with the new extension, there would definitely have to be something added in here, or perhaps even sheet drain it to like a French drain along the edge that ties to that pipe that's coming out of the catch basin going over to the retention pond.
Right. Yeah.
But George, I guess, probably look at it this way, find out what would be a comfortable parking amount for whatever class of work you have to do or whatnot, and then find out from the board. We don't have to nail down exactly the number, but what range the board would be comfortable with. I think that would be a reasonable request.
The spaces that we show here are 9 by 19. Now, I will admit, when I'm in the town, I make them 10, but there's more pickup trucks in the town than there are in the village. But 9 by 19 and center line to center line is like 65 feet. That used to be the standard double row with 65 feet and the spaces were 20, which gave you 25 feet in the center driving. I like to leave a little bit more than that. So we make them 19. Most cars today are 13 to 15 feet. And out to outer mirrors are usually around 6, 8.
So what's your range that you're looking for as far as number of spaces?
What I'd like to do is work with this, but lose this 9 and just pull this off. And then you may end up dropping 9 to 11 spaces off the 224. So it'd be right around 213, 215, somewhere in there.
So I guess that's kind of a starting point of what planning board would be comfortable with, I guess. We don't, like I said, we don't have to narrow it down to the exact number, but we want to be able to be in a range for George to proceed and say,
It'll
okay.
be
yeah,
about
this is-
20 more.
It would be about
spaces, I
20 more
think.
spaces, right? If you were in, right, if you were at the 195 current and dropped some of those from the 224 planned off and got to around 215, that would be 20 new spots.
Mhm.
Just thinking about what they're adding on a lap pool, and maybe, splash pad, doing some reconfiguration in there. My thought process is, I'm used to the lap pool at the swim club. I mean, there's never 20 people in there. Same thing.
And I think the busiest time for the pools are in the winter time. For some reason, everybody wants to swim in the winter time. But a lot of people, do come, use TCAT
Yep.
to get to the Y. And also their larger groups like Challenge and Unity House, they all come in vans. It's not
Yeah.
like they're all coming like individually.
It's gonna be families, so like kids will come with their parents in one car.
Well, and that's my point about like the people that I know, I know at the swim club, a lot of people who are couples and two of them come and they don't bring two cars when they're doing that
Right.
together. I suspect that's.
But it's also a school bus drop off. So kids come from school, they
Yeah.
get dropped off there off the bus.
So they're using the facility, but not generating.
Right. And the parents come and pick them up. Right?
So I guess my question is, right, there's already not enough, according to code, there's not enough parking at the Y. They want to make a change that could potentially, the number that we're working at could add 20 spots to that, which would bring it more in line. What are people's thoughts on that?
Fine with that. I mean,
Positive, negative, yeah, neutral.
fine with it.
Yeah. So I go to the YMCA almost every day and the side in the evenings, and that lot is never ever really used at all. The evenings and even on the weekends, they use like one, they'll use this part right here, that's closest.
That's the setup.
Yeah, so I think just improving efficiency of what currently is, will probably get more people to park there.
So what we're talking, people always park in this area, so we're saying keep that, but just move it like 8 feet further east, and I can kind of slide those spaces over.
Additionally, the 5,000 additional square feet is mostly going to be water, right?
That's the thing,
Yeah.
they're not- yeah.
And then what isn't water is gonna be mechanical.
Yeah,
Now, so that doesn't generate people, and there's a little bit of space. Yeah, we're generating, this is already existing, so this rework for activity is in the existing building.
yeah, and the Y does limit like how many people can be in the pool area at one time, at least for the kids.
Having done.
Yeah, you're right. They do. Yeah.
Having done several skating rinks, and they say 50 people to a square foot, and well, if you put that on.
Yeah, right, good luck with that, yeah. You don't have to worry about falling.
Yeah. And I think the idea of allowing for this additional green space for, for children to use in the future instead of a parking lot.
Well, that was the thing, I'm right, you could say, no, push it out, because you can get more, but then, that's not the mission of, and I think all people live, my kids went there when they were younger, and yeah, it would have been great to have
Yeah.
more, so I mean, yeah. I would rather it be more, and again, like Mike mentioned, and George mentioned, right, there've been plenty of projects where we want there to be enough parking, but we don't want it to, be like a mall parking lot, which is like, 10% full.
Yeah. I think one consideration is the drop off. People do drop off children, and so that's where it gets a little tight as opposed to like right by right there. But that's it.
Great. Before I started, it's kind of like, I saw the number that's required, and I'm going, oh boy. And then it's like, okay, so let's talk about a goal. And then we'll work a site plan for that and come back in a week to Mike. So.
So let me ask you this, Mike. So according to, code is we get, we can go with 80%, which would be 22.
The 80% is not necessarily for how many you can cut back. 80% is. In this case, that you're allowed to do whatever you.
Okay,
want.
that was my
You wanna
question.
say that
Okay.
there's one spot, which is
Okay.
ridiculous,
Right.
to make it one spot, but you have to go justify it.
Right, okay.
So what I was trying to do, I see some of you have the letter I wrote, Mike. So basically what I say is the large open spaces, the activity spaces, have the parking requirement for those spaces, and that's how I got to a number. But in reality, what's left in the existing building, a lot, it's locker room, mechanical spaces, it's not a lot of function. Yes, the weight room is still included in there, and that gets a bunch of people. And the offices and stuff like that, they get people, but it seems the number seems reasonable when I looked at it.
So I just want to ask, just thinking ahead, because George did mention that they have other plans in the works, and I know that they're talking about all the land behind the Y that they own, and they'd like to put in tracks and all kinds of things.
Yeah,
like that.
I've been
But will
told.
that trigger the parking lot law again, the rule? If the Y develops their property behind the Y, they own all that land behind the Y. If they develop that into, I don't know, there's a bunch of ideas. I don't know exactly what. I know one thing was to put in a track, and
That was outside square footage of things.
but if they added a building back there for whatever, I mean, is that going to trigger the parking lot issue again?
Just like this does, right? They're adding
They're
physical quick.
counted, they end up counting it would be another.
I mean, right now, the trust company built a picnic pavilion that's there. Don't think anything, they never went, that got built, I don't even think it went to planning board. I don't know, it's long enough ago, but
It's probably a buildable permit, but not.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just curious about.
this building here is like 16 by 40, so. 3 parking spaces.
Yeah, I would, to Lorraine's point, that's the only thing that I would, consider is, if you're taking up some of that space now to meet this goal with future goals back there. If it does, trigger this, if you do put a track in or something like that and it adds on, the fact that you need to come back and get more parking spaces, then if you don't have any more property there for parking spaces, it might be a non-starter.
The definition that you currently use for parking space refers to structures. And an outdoor vehicle, whatever, can be a structure. I'd argue there's no parking requirement.
We'd still have to kind of consider something on that. But
Yeah.
another thing also, in commercial medium traffic, there's no percentage of lot coverage. You don't have to have a certain, doesn't matter what your percentage of lot coverage, you can fill the whole lot up with whatever. It's just a matter, you get rid of all your pervious surfaces, then Brent's gonna get mad, there's gonna be some kind of stormwater system there that they're gonna have to figure out, so it becomes more difficult for them the more they add, so.
If I know I have a goal like 213 to 215, show a site plan with those numbers, that's what I'll come back with.
My opinion would be, say, aim for no less than 20 additional spots. That's just my feeling on it. Yeah, so at 215. Would this might be a special permit?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Trees.
does that then trigger trees and sidewalks?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll
I'm not
talking
talking about
to
that.
George about that.
Okay.
But yes, that will trigger.
Okay.
We have currently sidewalks that lead from the building to, I'm not certain
I'm not concerned about the sidewalks. I think the connectivity is there for all that.
existing are there, will give you what you need. Trees, there's never enough, but
Mike will talk to you about it. Okay.
they have some fairly mature trees on their site.
Yeah, looks like there's a good one there.
This is in addition to a building with a change in parking, so I mean, you gotta come here.
Yeah.
Like, this is the reason why we're having a special permit is because of this full parking adjustment.
You will issue the special permit,
Planning board will, yes.
we don't have to go to Board of Zoning Appeals.
Not unless you need a variance for something.
Unless you need a variance for the building.
Those things you do, yeah.
No, we made certain.
We'll talk more about that too.
We didn't.
Is if you do need one, George, there's been times when the planning board has granted a special permit on the basis that you do get a variance.
I don't see that we trigger one, we were close, but we changed the building, so. Okay, great, thank
Well,
you.
appreciate it. I guess we'll see you at the next one. Hopefully talk to Mike. I'll get you on there if you're not already. Mike's the gatekeeper of all that. Thank you.
Thanks, Brent, for stopping and listening. I want you to get background because we may need you next week, depending on much ground disturbance or whatever happens for the extension of the parking lot.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, Brent, you're welcome to stay. If, I don't know if there's anything in particular that we'll be talking about that we'd have questions for, but you're welcome to stay.
I'll stick on a little bit.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is to continue the discussion of village code changes and corrections. So at the last meeting, we had kind of mentioned that when we had time, we would get stuff on here to talk about. It looks like it's going to be busy for a little bit, but you do all have, I think, in front of you, right? Yeah. Again, that printed out chart, we had gone over changes last time. One of the things that I had asked folks to do, I don't know if they've had time, but I'll pester you more between this meeting and every other future meeting about making sure that you look at it, because I'm not sure when we're going to have time here to have a full in-depth discussion. So I really want folks to be looking at the definitions outside of the meeting so that when we do come to talk about it, we can settle on something hopefully quickly. But I know Mike also started to dig into some stuff and he had a grand old time. You want to give an update on that, Mike?
That was black. I'll do the shortest one first. You've got two kind of packets that are together here. One says use recommendations, the other one says existing section 145, 3 definition analysis.
The use definition is the 2-pager.
Yeah, and it's got I'll kind of go over this real quick. I mean, you don't have to really make a decision on it. These are just some recommendations as I went through things. Lisa had brought this up at one point about having residential on our chart of uses all close together, so it'd be easy for somebody to.
Got it down to line.
No, were they on the table?
Should have been. No, right
I wonder if Kathleen picked it up by,
up top.
there was nothing here
Never
when I
mind.
sat down.
With yours.
Yeah.
There you go. You can take that.
And I can share.
No, Mike can share, but I.
Yeah, I have one of these.
Oh, I don't have this. I only have the definition.
You're good.
So this is what you were missing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think that was a given. Some of the stuff is redundant, so I'll just kind of go over real quick. I think that makes sense. You try to have residential, you just have 1 family, 2 family, multifamily, that's easy for people to find.
And then so we could group them together in the chart visually when you were looking at them. Here they are.
I looked at both definitions for commercial assembly, soft goods and light industry and manufacturing. And Mike and Lorraine had suggested that you combine it on there, and I really didn't see any reason why you couldn't. I mean, they somewhat overlap each other. Splitting hairs if you try to determine which is which and what's the difference between them. I had a question, members only fuel station. I think that was actually put in there only because of the BJ's fueling system, and that was during a PDA. We really don't have a chart for PDA. It kind of gets sped up as it goes, some separate entity. I don't know whether you want to remove that out of there.
I just can't imagine anyone coming in and just opening up a standalone members only fuel station.
Yeah.
I say that it could happen. I'm just trying to think of an, right, they're usually attached to something.
Yeah.
Like a Costco.
Right, yeah, that's where you see them, DJs, Costco. I don't know if Sam's Club does that sort of thing or not, but yeah. So it's accessory to something. And again, that was handled under a PDA here, so.
Yeah, and it says, I didn't put it on this chart, but now that I think of that on the same subject, that the redevelopment of a larger pre-existing non-conforming current use in operation in the CLT zoning. It's got on Mike's big sheet here, the big 11x17 that I was reviewing it. When Lorraine and Mike, and this is a little redundant, when Lorraine and Mike were looking things over, I looked up the reason why that was actually created. That law was created. It's for McDonald's when it used to be across the road from where it was. It got moved over. I cannot even possibly think of why it would be used ever again. So to have it in there, that might want to also be eliminated.
At that point, right, we were creating a non-conforming law by doing that. So we had to put something in there, I
Put
guess.
something in there, made it up. I don't see us using that again.
Right, yeah.
Like I said, I'm sorry this is redundant, but the small scale sales, large scale sales, office, studio and service, This was talked about months ago. I would like to keep things pretty basic as far as sales and service. It's very easy at that point to, it simplifies the classifications for me and makes it very easy. There's no conflict. There's no worry about overlapping into another use. It's all going to be categorized in there. The difference between the small scale sales and large scale sales would be the size of the facility. I did we've always talked about assisted living facility. If you look at the next page, I started looking through, okay, definitions I could find anywhere on both, special care facility and assisted living. And they were so close, I just got tired of trying to figure out, okay, what's the difference between these? When there wasn't much difference at all, so why don't you just incorporate them together? And as I looked up on two websites, they had types of specialized care facilities, and they're listing them out, nursing homes, assisted living facilities. So they're classifying a living facility as a type of special care facility. So there's no reason why we can't put that in one, just in one use. I mean, you'd be splitting hairs again, just trying to separate what's what. I'm sure that I could come up with some type of definition that would incorporate both of them. So that's kind of what I came up with all of that. Any questions on that page? I went through the actual existing section 145-3, which is terms that are defined. Mike and Lorraine made a point before that some of them overlap with the definitions that we have. So I went down through alphabetical order. And like I mentioned before, the residential, we've got it listed in terms, and we don't really need to. I would have a section in 145-82 that actually tells you what a single family, what a duplex is, what a multi-unit is. The one that I would leave in definitions would be a townhouse. It's not actually in use, it's a type of housing, so I would leave it as a term. And remove group residential, because that's already in definitions. So we take that out, or that's already in the description of uses. Gasoline service stations, I would say we remove that. That's included in, that's described under a use. Home occupation is in both definitions and the description of a use, so we might take that out. Same with motels, they are described in both 145-3 and 145-82. The interesting one that I got to was we got the mobile home. And I started reviewing the code book, and there's a definition there of manufactured home out of the new uniform code. Describes, I didn't write the term for manufactured homes, also describes a mobile home. So they're kind of, mobile home isn't what you think it is anymore.
Right.
You're thinking of a trailer park or whatnot, when actually the whole idea of manufactured home or mobile home is not really a use, it's a type of building. It's almost like stick building or a balloon building or something like that. So it's not really a use, but it's more of a description of how something is
If
built.
you think about like tiny homes, they build on trailers, that would fall into, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna work a little bit more on that too. It doesn't, I don't want to completely take it out because someone may want to have a trailer park. And you may not want it, or somehow we have to define it, or someone wants to put on a single wide trailer, a lot that, and it's not on a, it's not fastened to a
Permanent.
foundation or anything like that. So that might be how we describe it, that it has to be connected to a foundation or something of that nature. So give me some more time on that.
And isn't there then a New York state law where we have to treat mobile homes affixed to a permanent foundation similar to a single family dwelling?
Yes, and I believe Brent, go ahead and correct me on this, but you have so many days, if a or a mobile home or a mobile, can't remember the exact wording of it, you have like 180 days where it can remain there. Oh, yeah,
You got it,
180
yeah.
consecutive days. And then it has to be moved. So there are some, I haven't pinpointed how we can define it yet, but we should have something in there. It may never happen. But someone may want to put up 2 or 3 mobile homes or whatnot. We have to find some way to define it. Religious facility, we can remove, it's defined in 14582. I'd like to add in the definition of what senior housing is, and I just put a sample definition on there. The senior housing is not so much a use, it's the way we have been using, for example, here in Lansing Meadows is we say that's 75% senior housing. Well, senior housing is declared as 55 or older or whatnot. I don't really consider it a use. I consider it as type of housing. Right. I put on there when I ran across the rooming house definition, and kind of gave a sample definition of that. I didn't send it to Natalie, sorry about that. School we can remove, that's in 14582. And let me skip over telecommunications for a second, the tourist home. I don't even know where that's referred to. We have a definition for it, and if it's not given in any other description of a use, why do we have a definition of something that's never referred to? And maybe I missed it, but I did not see that anywhere. You guys being quiet, I know I've lost you. Now, telecommunications is kind of an odd. Not really tied to any use. I'll try to explain this. It's given definition in 145.3, described under additional conditions for certain special permits in 145.60. That's not referred to in any district. Telecommunications facility is not technically a use. Now, if I were to have to classify something that was a telecommunications facility, I would classify it under utility transmission storage plant, which if you were to look up that use in any district, it never refers to 145.60. So how would you ever know to go to telecommunications? I know I lost you on that one, because I was myself on that.
What would you call, I don't know how many of these still exist, but buildings, phone company buildings look like regular buildings from the outside. Maybe they're brick, maybe they're 1 story. I think there's one down in Pleasant Hill.
Still does
Yeah,
that.
there's a bunch of telephone equipment inside them. Wouldn't that be a telecommunications facility or?
Could be,
building?
yes. But, telecommunications facility is not a use. I can't give it a use of telecommunications facility. It does exist. I'd have to classify it under utility transmission, storage and plants. But how would anyone know to go and take a look at what 145.60 has to say about telecommunication facilities? Because nothing refers to that. And if you take a look at 145.60 where it says telecommunications facility, it goes about 1.5 pages. Got 1.5 pages in there, something we don't even refer to.
So we need to,
And it's like, I saw it and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It can't be sitting here and we never refer to it.
so we could add it as a use. Right, it's not a use now.
It is a separate use.
Well, we could add it as a use and then work on the definition. Or
If we had it as a use, I would have to make sure that there was some difference between that and utility transmission storage and plant.
Right, well, and that's the other option, or we go ahead as a distinct use, assume that it would fall under there, but then make sure that the definition is.
So that was the last one I did, and after I got to that
Then
one,
he stopped.
I was ready to climb a clock tower. So that's kind of all I mean, you gotta let that absorb, 'cause I just, I read that right at you, so, I will be doing more research on this, and all of the items that I just went through, I will finalize what I recommend that we should do for this, for zoning. That's all I got, it's enough.
There's enough.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Investigative work on your part. Thank you. But you'll know all this stuff now because you've looked it all up.
Well, again, that was, right, this was a great exercise just to go through as a board and for Mike and especially for Lorraine and I, and when we broke up into like subgroups to go over it, like, it's a good exercise, even if we said, no, everything looks exactly the way it's supposed to, it's still a good exercise.
Yeah.
Okay. Any thoughts or questions? I have a comment, and that is please look at at the last meeting, we had talked about the packet that Natalie had sent out before with those definitions for some of the things that we want to add. So I'll send an email out again, just reminding folks. I'll try to attach everything to it so you can take a look at it. But please do that between now and the next meeting. We have time great at the next meeting, but at the very least, maybe we'll just do a quick, 15-minute update like this and just to at least incrementally start to kind of tackle some of these things.
And I'm sorry, is the best way to like give comments just like on a Word document, or do we have like the changes being tracked anywhere, or do we just bring our own thoughts? Or
If you have suggestions, you can send them an email or we can
Okay.
talk about it here. The spreadsheet that has everything tracked on it, purposely, only I can update that way. People aren't going in and changing all kinds of stuff on it without us having a discussion first. So
okay, perfect.
that's a spreadsheet that I won't change anything on until we've discussed it here.
So any changes or edits that have been made based on the feedback that's been given, is it in the latest one?
It's like the things that Mike's talked about, not yet, they're still flagged as, like potentially remove or we need a definition for, or.
Okay. Okay.
Next item on the agenda is to discuss topics for the June 1st joint meeting, which isn't June 1st anymore.
It is.
Oh, is it June 1st? Is that the date they picked?
It's their first June meeting.
Is it the first June? Is that what they said? Okay.
No, so Ronnie sent out a message.
Yeah.
And actually I did write back to Ronnie and I said, Ronnie, at the last trustee meeting, you guys decided on June 8th, but he said, I'm going to still be gone on June 8th.
Okay.
So he's now offered, was it June 15th?
There was confusion at the Board of Trustees meeting, if it was a planning board meeting or a Board of Trustees.
Trustee
meeting. That's how the 8th came up.
Okay,
Everyone
gotcha.
thought it was a planning board. meeting. So it is the first June meeting.
Okay.
So that now he sent out a message because he's going to be away.
On the first.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and the 8th. And so I'm trying to find this message now. I can't find it. Anyway, he was asking 15th. You'd have to look at the calendar.
June 15th.
Yeah, or the first, July 6th.
July,
July
yeah.
6th.
Yep, either the 15th or July 6th.
Yeah, so I don't think maybe they'll decide at the Thursday noon meeting.
But either way,
We're looking at July.
Oh, no,
No.
it's gonna either be June or July, but I think we're leaning towards June because Pat wrote back and he's gonna be VA. And Kathleen said she'd prefer June, even though she's.
the other thing too, it's the summer, it might interfere with some people's,
Well, the 6/2 is right after the fourth weekend.
yeah, it might interfere with some people's travel. So, the thing is, I would love it if everyone's here. Who knows? Maybe it's me who can't be here. But we could, as long as we have a quorum here, we could.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do any business.
We're not yet,
Just
but
open.
either way, there is an option that, if somebody can't make it, that they can Zoom in to participate. Obviously, it's better here, but, topics that folks want to bring up. We've talked about a ton of stuff before.
Well, I've got a few things, but I'm sure you have more important things. These are just. You sure? I'm sure.
Go around.
Okay, so a couple things related to the comprehensive plan. So one of the things in the comprehensive plan on page 34 We said that at our joint meetings, we would review implementation priorities from the plan, and so I think we need to add that on the list. At the semi-annual joint meeting of the Board of Trustees and Planning Board, review implementation priorities from the comprehensive plan and discuss progress, priorities, and means for accomplishing the planning goals set forth. Okay, page 34, Mike, if you need that for the agenda. And then the other thing, on page 40, community engagement, and I have talked to Carolyn a little bit about this. We want to start doing some community participation, like having a table at local events. And we're thinking maybe a couple a year. Right off the top, we think, the YMCA has some really good events. We were talking about maybe participating in the Trunk or Treat, which is in October, and Healthy Kids Day, which is in April, and they get a lot of people. But, there's lots of things that we can talk about. We can have maps of village trails, things like that. Anyway, so those were two things that I had.
Yeah. I don't have anything in particular. So that.
I'm gonna think about it. I can't. I'm not sure.
All the stuff now we have even a little extra time now, but
Okay.
you can move if you want to sit in Lisa's seat right now. Lisa's whole seat. You all can shift. You can all shift up one seat. So.
No, it's too soon.
Yeah.
You have to cherish this for a year. Yeah.
I've only been at one. So what kind of things do you guys normally bring to that?
We talk at I want to say this will be our fourth one, third one. At the first one, we spent a lot of time talking about the comprehensive plan because that had yet to come out and getting feedback and things like that. On the second one, we gave updates on, I think there was a little update on the comp plan again, but we talked about a bunch of different parts of the code. We gave an update on this whole code change project that we've been working on.
This would be a good time if you have any complaints that you want to bring up. No, regarding your street or whatever, this would be the time to do it. I know at the last meeting in January when we met, I brought up several issues, but because they're all here and they can all hear it. So if you've got something you want
If that's the place to bring up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect, because John Courtney would be here he usually comes to our joint meetings. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, what we usually try to do in what came out of the first meeting was better structure for the second meeting, which seemed to be a lot more positive, and we'll carry that through. And this is one of those things, getting agenda items ahead of time. But we'll focus on big topics first, and then, we'll go around and everybody, whether you're planning board or trustee, have an opportunity to bring up smaller things that might not be like a village-wide thing, right? We represent different parts of the village, and if there's something impacting you, it's impacting those, potentially impacting those people, right? If you don't like your neighbor's light, I don't know about that one, but, potentially impacting, other people in the village too, for the area that, you kind of represent.
That's an important one, though, because it's right on that curve, and people are going so fast. I haven't been hit yet when I've been crossing.
You've nearly been hit a few times.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Brent has his hand up. He might have a comment about this.
Okay.
Go ahead, Brent.
I'm just kind of thinking on a little bit different topic area. It seems like it might be good to have a little bit of conversation between the two groups as to what we think is the near-term or short-term future of developments and the need for sewer service. And, I think the Cayuga Heights folks would be happy to get an update on that. We've I think it was probably close to 5 years ago now that we were struggling, that the Village of Cayuga Heights plant was looking for data from each of the towns to give some ideas on how many units were going to be needed in the foreseeable future so that they could do their planning. And now that 5 years has come and gone, it's probably good to get a new 5-year estimate if you felt like you could do that. I mean, maybe you can't, but I know that there's projects that are kind of have come and gone, and some have gone away and some have come back. And so it might be something to talk about.
Would there be a way to get that 5-year list so we could kind of see what the realization was? Like how
Sure.
kind of on the nose or off we were?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had quite a few on that list that have gone away. Yeah, so that's true. Point, Brett.
I will add in there too that I would hopefully by when we have this meeting, especially now that it's pushed, maybe we might have had the first commercial advisory committee. I forget what the full name of it, so that's what I'm calling it. Meeting by then, so that's something that maybe we can provide an update on. So that's the one that Carolyn is spearheading. I'm on that as the planning board rep, and Lisa's on it as the village rep, and then there's obviously expected. So, and even if we haven't had the meeting yet, at least just a quick update on that, I think would be good for folks to chat in on and see where Carolyn's at with everything. We can give a code update again. That'll be a quick thing, theoretically. I don't know, Lorraine, if it would be worthwhile for us to give an update from the Planning Federation. And did anyone from the trustees, when did NICOM happen already or not?
Happens in the fall.
Okay, so I think somebody probably, Kathy probably, or whoever went probably already gave an update at that trustee meeting. But do you want to give an update on that quick?
No,
Okay.
I'd rather give it to this group, and if
Okay.
they want to listen to it, they can listen to the recording.
But it'd be beneficial if like someone went, like the report went to the,
Oh, we did talk about.
We talked about that
good for them
before.
to all get the update.
Yeah. Or I'll give a quick update.
I mean, I don't care. I finally have my notes together.
So there you go. I'll give a quick, just a like joint meeting, or we can give the update there. Because it is a joint meeting between trustees and planning board, and everyone will get the update that way.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. I've already shared a couple of things with Carolyn and Kathleen, just so you know that I knew that would be important to them. And I sent them detailed information, so, but.
Let's add it as a quick update if we get to it, and I'm happy to. I'll go chip into it and just see,
Yeah, I
We
mean,
can also
you
pick up that topic again about Nikon.
presentation topics and
Yeah.
give like a quick,
Yeah, yep. Mike or Natalie? Nothing? Well, if other stuff comes, I'll wait until we finalize a date, and then I'll kind of send it out to everybody on the planning board and on the trustees and say, hey, here's what we're thinking about. You know, what topics do you all have if you want to add on there? Okay. Next item on the agenda is the trustee report. Soledad.
Yes, I was there.
Where?
I recommend watching the video if anyone is interested, because they discussed a lot of things. So I feel like
Was that?
Organizational.
At the organizational meetings always.
okay, so I did the best I could to take notes, but maybe some of this will be more relevant for those who have been on the planning board for.
Your next meeting will be
It's
shorter.
an atypical meeting.
Okay, great.
And oh yeah, I would love to say, yeah, your notes at the next meeting, I'm guessing will be.
I always go back and listen, and I run the transcript at the same time because
Okay,
it's
good.
hard to hear.
Yeah, so unless there is something out of the ordinary, you don't have to tell us everybody they appointed to the position.
Yeah,
Everything. You can skip over all
Well,
that.
I reviewed my notes and you were appointed to one particular thing.
Oh,
I think it's for
Oh,
the,
that was.
Straight.
Yeah.
so you should feel good about that. You weren't completely, okay, cool. So they reviewed the election results. Well, first off, let me just start by saying there was no one there for the public comment period except for myself. And I actually realized I was supposed to introduce myself, and I did realize in a moment, but there wasn't anyone there for the public comment period. They reviewed the election results. So I was kind of surprised that the turnout was a little bit low. So I talked about that a little bit. There were 49 in-person voters, I think, so kind of low. 30 absentee ballots were sent out, but only 11 were returned. Kathleen, so this is for the trustees election. Kathleen was voted reelected, and then Susan was also reelected. They approved, so Kathleen had 57 votes and Susan 52. They approved the previous minutes, and then they were talking quite a bit about the recreation partnership. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but because there's been an increase in the youth population from 2.3 to 2.7%, we're trying to figure out if the village should be more involved in some kind of way, especially because now there's a gap in some opportunities over the summer. Cornell no longer has as many camps, so they're trying to figure out if we could be more involved. Maybe we could do some sports programming or some different types of diverse programming for folks who are for children who aren't as interested in sports. There would be a budget expectation for that, so they're going to discuss like how we would make that work financially. And then this is where there was the public hearing or public portion for the rezoning on Warren Road. So I don't know if you know more about this one, but there were no public comments and the public hearing open and closed. So the seeker environmental review, so that found no major environmental impacts. I don't know if that sounds about right. And the board adopted the negative declaration. So I don't know if you want to share with that, Williams, or if you guys probably
This was
all this.
for Dairy One, so we didn't get the GML back in time to pass the local law, so we just did the seeker to get that out of the way. The GML was sent
Now we
back
have
today.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be voted on at the business meeting.
So I guess, and then we're waiting for Tompkins counties.
That's what we
That
got
was
back
the
today.
GML.
Oh, okay, got it. That's what's the acronym?
GML 239,
Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, so that's.
General Municipal Law
Yeah,
239.
just so you guys know, that gets sent anytime we have a special permit, certain, like a use variance, not an area variance. If it's happening within 500 feet of a municipal boundary, a state or county property, state or county, highway or anything like that, then I have to send the information that you generally would get for, say, a special permit. I have to send it to the county. They look it over, they give us their recommendations or whatnot, and send us back whatever it is. In this case, they sent us back that they had nothing to.
Okay, so what do we share with the county in that area?
For that area, the Warren Road is county owned.
Okay.
Okay, so either we'll hear back that they have no comments, we won't hear back from them anything, which is the same as no comments, or we'll hear back something, which is their recommendation, and depending on what they say, if we can override the county, but that's not a normal vote, that's a supermajority vote if we want to override
And
what
they
the
have-
county says, if we decide to do something different.
Yeah, they have 30 days to respond.
Okay, great.
Usually they say something back anyway, like,
Yeah.
it's usually, no recommendation from them, go ahead.
Sounds good. And then we went through numerous resolutions, including the zoning board chair, the zoning board members. So if you guys want to look at all of those, I can share them with you too, but there were many that we reviewed. And then I guess some administrative items that were important. The official newspaper is going to be the Ithaca Journal. They accepted or approved the meeting schedule. And then importantly to all of us is the compensation. The mayor's compensation is going to be $20,000 per year, the trustees $7,000 each. The planning board, the chair $10,000, the members $5,000. The zoning board, they approved a 100 per meeting per attending member. So I guess they were talking about it or approved. I couldn't fully focus.
That you had to attend the meeting to get the $100, like you have to get the $100 if there's a meeting and you don't attend, which I thought would be
Okay.
implied.
There was talk about the investment policy with M&T Bank, I guess, is now.
Yeah, just switching out accounts in that policy.
Oh, okay. Then, so they talked a little bit about the solar tax exemption. So I don't know if I followed this kind of, but I guess the village is not opting out, but using a case-by-case type of decision-making process for that.
Yeah, so if we get a large, like a tier 3 solar array, the village, there's currently a property tax exemption available only for the increased value based on the solar array itself. That the municipality can completely opt out of giving that to a developer, or they can opt into a law requiring a pilot for every development that comes our way. The village has decided it will be a case-by-case basis for now, in which case you have 60 days to send a notice to developer if you're going to be requiring them to do a pilot. So I provided Ronnie with a template notice. So if and when a large solar array comes up and the village wants to make them do a pilot, they can send that notice within 60 days.
Okay, cool. So the Greenway and Parks, there's going to be memorial tree planting at Hartsville Park. And then the Cornell student projects, I guess we heard a little bit about that, which is really exciting. And then there are new park maps that they're working on developing. And then they gave an update about us. They did mention that you guys went to the training to the New York Federate and maybe that you would be presenting that at the joint meeting. So I'm glad that you brought it up. So you may want to, they may be
Missed that.
expecting it. Or no, it's listening. Or maybe I cut out before that. Might be expecting some kind of update, but I mean, to you guys. And then they also talked about turning on the notifications for the emergency preparedness plan, I guess, and also the youth services. I guess there's a staffing shortage. And, oh yeah, 10 Brown Road. Don't know what that or
Yeah, there's something going on there at the county. I don't really know what. It's kind of like out of our jurisdiction.
Okay,
Yeah.
so some talk of that.
Yeah, I think Ronnie went to a meeting at 10 Brown Road about something at 10 Brown Road.
I don't know. Like
It was an
UV
update.
air sterilization.
Oh, isn't that the Cornell, the old Cornell building? What was it called? Some lab.
Langmuir?
Langmuir Lab. Is
Yeah.
Ken Brown Langmuir Lab?
Sorry?
Well, I can't remember now, but
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
talking about something.
It was long there.
Meeting about it.
Yeah, something about a tax exemption. I don't know. Sorry, I couldn't raise below because I couldn't hear. They may have talked about.
My lab's different than 10 Brown, but it's.
Oh,
Cornell Business and Tech Park, 10 Brown Road.
Okay. So yeah, that was it. It was a busy one if you guys want to go back and watch this. It's pretty interesting.
Okay. Yes, it won't all be like.
that's the,
Like-
that's the big one, yeah.
Here on out, it'll be fun. Well, they'll probably start canceling meetings.
So yeah, they made a lot.
For holidays. Okay, next item on the agenda is other business. Right?
No, I don't have anything.
I don't have anything. I'll just ask a question. How's the progress on paving that parking lot or perimeter road? Are they?
I had a conversation with Dondi Harner, DG Miller. And he is working with them on what they need to do and how much the estimated cost. Especially with like the water, where the water runs off in the back parking lot headed towards Cannon Park.
Yeah.
Being able to fix all of that area. And he is working with them to get somebody in line to repair everything.
Even the front area there going to Target.
The perimeter,
I don't know.
like. the
Have you seen
perimeter-
how bad that is?
Not the-
You can't even drive in the one lane. It's so bad. Natalie, have you been over there?
Yep.
I was telling Mike Baker, if you have not driven in the Finger Lakes Gymnastics parking lot, don't speak to me about the ring road.
Sorry. Compact minefield. Like, like in front of Target, you can actually go into the other lane and avoid the potholes.
Oh, really? You can't even do that? Oh.
Drive down, it'll really inflame you and make this look like a thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So.
But yeah.
there's Something being.
Well, I remember a couple of months ago, you'd said something about the owners claimed that they had entered into a contract with somebody, materials were being ordered. To
Yeah,
To make the
the
improvements.
one thing they said they're waiting for the asphalt plant to open up. And then you get something else. It's worse than Jim, but. Best we can.
Yeah, and you're right, yeah, because that one road, they don't need speed bumps. They're already built in, but they're worse.
Asphalt plants are open because
Traffic calming.
they paved all of Lansing Grove. It looks so nice. Oh, yeah. And I should just tell you, this will make you feel good. When I was out walking the other day, I ran into the owner of Lansing Grove. And he was chatting away with me and I told him who I was and everything. And he's having a few issues. And I said, have you talked to Mike Scott? And he goes, Mike Scott is amazing. Everybody always tells me that when I talk to them. I wanted to let you know that.
Yeah.
But you're amazing. That you've been so helpful. But anyway, it looks really nice over there now that they've redone the parking areas.
Brett Cross taught me everything I knew.
I would concur with that person's comments. I think that Mike is wonderful, and And maybe Mike Baker remembers, but we had a transition there after Marty. And so Mike has done a wonderful job, and I feel that you've got the right guy for that job.
All right, let's move on.
Question.
Soledad.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement. I have also heard from folks, like when you tell them that you're on the board or about that parking lot. So I know you guys know, but I feel like it's our due diligence to keep bringing it back up so that you know that the constituents are talking, and that for a lot of folks, that's some of their only interactions with the village. And so it's unfortunate. I guess it's actually not the village, technically the parking lot or whatever, but just unfortunate that that's kind of like the first thing that a lot of people will mention. So I'm with you. I keep hearing about it. Also, I was wondering about like the newsletter and like the brush pickup. I guess some of my neighbors hadn't heard about that either. And so I think like how we can increase the news or share. I know you guys have been worked on it for meeting.
Tabling events.
Before that.
Oh, it's in the, okay, good.
So tabling events like Lorraine mentioned would be a great way to just try to get more people added.
Please, we should add that because that's also under community engagement and not to get us off track here, but that is one of the things. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't get that newsletter. There's probably email addresses on that newsletter list that aren't even any good anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And since we cannot use social media, which was our original plan in here, we need to find other ways to get the word out to people.
And I enjoy getting my hard copy so I can sit in my comfortable desk there and read it.
Yeah.
Supposed to looking at.
Well, I didn't even get it. For some reason, my email, it came into my Cornell email address and I saw it come into my inbox. Remember I told you, and it zapped it right out. And I think it must have been, it marked it as spam, and it was also like a listserv. And it wasn't even in my delete folder or junk folder or anything. It was just gone. It's the weirdest thing.
Good to know.
Yeah, I think
That works.
yeah, the strategy should be like, there's not just one thing. So it needs to be email and print and text and like multiple and like
Yeah.
signs. Maybe we could print out copies and have it at the YMCA or print out copies and have it at
Right.
just like ways that where we know that our people are kind of interacting.
Yeah, I'll add it to, that's good. I'll add it to the.
And we'll put it right under community engagement.
There was even during the organizational meeting, Susan was appointed as a position, which was a community position or non-elected position, but there was no non-elected person interested. So I asked if they had advertised that there was this position available, but they hadn't. So just a way to get more people
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah, that's good.
Heard about demo over here?
There is a porta potty there.
I was texting.
I don't think that somebody would just put it there out of their kindness. Feel like, people might get tired on their walk from Target to the bus stop, and yeah, I need to use.
Spotted it. What day did I text you and Lisa?
Super traffic or something and.
Want to get this, Shane? So I spotted the porta potty and I immediately text Mike and Lisa. It says stay tuned for updates. Nothing else has happened since, but they dropped it off behind the building. It's
It's by the entrance to the parking lot there. So off of,
yeah, it's kind of like
where the road is there. What's the name of the road there?
Butler.
Butler. I'll get used to it after this project. It just hasn't gotten like beat into my head yet. So yeah, Butler. Yeah. Nothing. I have one thing, and that is something that we talked about in the last meeting, especially now in Soledad, that's a full member. There you go. I did send Jacob a email, and he was still interested in being on the planning board. So I know we had discussed that topic before. So if folks are still good with making that recommendation to the trustees, we can vote on that tonight. I can make the recommendation to the trustees tomorrow morning. I don't know if anyone had any further comments about it or anything.
No, I think that's great that he's still interested.
I haven't changed my thoughts.
Well, then if not, I will entertain a motion to recommend to the Board of Trustees that we appoint Jacob Von Metchow to the alternate position on the planning board.
I motion to, is it move? I motion to.
Motion by Lorraine, second by Jim.
Adam,
A second.
And meet
Favor?
You weren't here when you.
No.
Steve, second.
Are you guys abstaining or
Are you
voting?
abstaining?
yeah, I've never met.
Okay, so 3.
What'd you say?
I haven't met them.
Okay.
Do we have enough?
Yeah.
We got 3.
So I just realized that we forgot to give Lisa her card.
Oh.
Well, she'll have to come back for another one. That's, you know.
Like, where is it?
Get another cake.
I left it in your hand.
We can drop it off.
It was in,
In Jody's office.
last person I knew signed it was Lynn Naples.
Drop it off or.
Yeah, I mean, I can get it and I'll drop it off to her.
Yeah, okay. I will make that recommendation. I'll send it over tomorrow, hopefully, along with these topics, and then there's other stuff. I don't know. I don't think I have anything else. Emily? Mike, what you got for us?
As I noted, Callie Firth, she was the one that's gonna be presenting the best system. She couldn't do it for this meeting because she was having surgery. I think she'll be coming in about the first meeting in July. The folks who came in here for the Volmax project, they are going to the Board of Trust, or I'm sorry, the BZA next Tuesday. To try to get a variance for the density. At this point, they are only going to be able to use what is allowed density wise on the one lot, the corner lot. You're not going to be able to combine it with 20 Volmax, which would make the variance significant. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, you should have George next meeting at the YMCA. And like I said, I foresee a few more special permits coming along. So,
Nothing on Adelita's, I assume.
I don't know.
Adelita's, the former Applebee's.
No.
Okay. Just curious to know if you've heard anything else.
The Thai restaurant, it's at the Trip Hammer Mall. I think I actually ran into the owner today since I know her for years at Tamarind, and she said she's looking to open. She's hoping late May, but early June.
Well, I don't think she's opening late May.
Yeah, I think she kind of changed that she didn't think she was gonna make it, but
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, at this point, there's no cooking equipment in there.
well, they moved some stuff in today.
What about Giovanni? Is he still on schedule for end of June?
I don't know for sure. Chris Cook had said something that they're negotiating on certain things, so I don't really know much.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else. I want to make sure Brent didn't have his hand raised. I will entertain a motion to adjourn at 8:23 p.m. Motion by Kevin, second by Soledad, all in favor?
Aye.
To everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brent. Have a good one. See you, Carla.
Thank you.
Okay, see ya.
I guess, Mike,